Hey folks, how you doing? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report with your NBA previews and predictions for a freaky Friday, May 14th. Hope you're having yourself a good start to your day. As always, don't forget, subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner, or hit the subscribe button below this video if you are using a mobile device. Today's podcast brought to you by bballpicks.com. Anybody can play, anybody can join. bballpicks.com. In fact, all you got to do is go to the website, go to top score, and from there, you'll see who the top scorers are. And right now, Michael Evans here. Look at this. Michael B. Evans is 839. His handle is Evans B. Michael. And you want to follow him right now at bballpicks.com. In second place, Proline Mike Anthony at 814. And Nicola Batista right here at 805. And folks, you can follow the top basketball pickers in the world right here at bballpicks.com. All right. A lot of games on deck here today, and we're going to use the premium reports today to do the podcast. More information, and hopefully we can help you out with your NBA handicapping. We're going to kick it off with the Denver Nuggets taking on the Detroit Pistons. Now, the Pistons are a home underdog against the Nuggets tonight. The over-under set at 220.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, going to lean with the Denver Nuggets. 116 and 105, the over-under at 221.42. Looking at the Nuggets in their last 10 games, they are 7-3 straight up. And for the Detroit Pistons, only 3-7 against the point spread, and also 7-3 to the under, where Denver's also 6-4 to the under. So when you do a combined record, they are 7-13 to the under, and that's why the Kogo here is at 50%. So the Kogo is the chance of game going over the total. We do like Denver to win the game straight up at 62.75%. 76% chance of covering the spread does favor Detroit Pistons according to the Raymond Report law of average theory. And when we look at some of the other information on this game, we got the Pistons on a 3-game losing streak straight up and against the number, and Denver now on a 2-game win streak. In fact, they're coming off a 114-103 win over the T-Wolves in their last game. Denver 21-13 on the season straight up, 19-15-0 against the point spread. And for the Pistons, 13-21 at home, 18-16 against the number, and 14-20 to the over-under. In the last 10 games between these two teams, the Denver Nuggets are, let me see here, they are in Detroit, 4-6 straight up and against the number. In the last 10 head-to-head meetings, so home and away, the Pistons are 6-4 against the number. And looking at both teams here, Denver playing on 0 days rest, while Detroit's playing on 2 days rest. And let me see if I got any good information down here to show you. And I don't see nothing in the situational stats. In fact, I do have, oh, look at this. Yeah, I remember seeing this stat before all season. Any NBA team this season that's at home, and they scored exactly 100 points for in the last game, 17-13 to the over. So solid league system play tonight on Denver and Detroit over the total. Let's go to Clippers taking on the Houston. I was going to say Astros there. I'm in baseball mode, but the Houston Rockets, now LA Clippers, 11.5 point road favorite. In fact, I saw a great stat yesterday. Did you know that the LA Clippers are 11-1 in the second game of a back-to-back situation? Pretty, like Sheldon would say on Big Bang Theories, fun with flags, but we're having fun with stats right here. Now the Clippers, 11.5 point road favorite here this evening in Houston. The over-under at 226.5. ATS forecast, computer pick. Gonna lean with the Clippers here, 121.2, 108.8. The over-under at 230.08. Houston having a really tough season. 1-9 in their last 10 games, 6-4 against the point spread. And you can see their last 10 games, 80% of them have gone over the total, where the LA Clippers are 6-4 straight up, 4-6 against the number, and just the complete opposite. 90% of their last 10 games have gone over the total. My line on tonight's game, the value edge, or the Vegas index I call it, is minus 6.4 for the Clippers, and you can see they're overvalued tonight at 11.5, and the chance of winning the game does favor the Clippers at 77%. They're on a 2-game straight up and ATS win streak, where the Rockets on a 7-game losing streak. But you know what? Here's the good news and bad news situation. The bad news is they're on a 7-game losing streak. The good news is they've covered the spread in their last 4. So that's pretty good from a losing situation, right? That's how you make lemonade with lemons. And the last 6 games for the Rockets have gone over the total. But when the LA Clippers are on the road against a team below 500 in the standings, 13-4 straight up, 11-6 against the point spread. And on their season, they are 21-13 on the road, straight up, but 19-15 against the point spread. And after playing the Charlotte Hornets, which they did in the last game, they are 15-7-1 against the number. And NBA home teams this season that are 9.5 to 12-point home dog, not really good against the point spread. 2-12 straight up, 4-9-1 against the number, and Houston in this exact same situation, 1-4 straight up, 2-3 against the number. Let me see if I got any more situational stats to show you on this game here tonight. And let me see here. 7-20 NBA road teams after playing Charlotte are 7-20 to the under. And let me see. Oh, not a good situation for Houston against the point spread. In fact, when Houston's coming off a road loss as an underdog, only 1-9 against the number, and on 1 day's rest, 5-20 against the spread. So not a good situation for the Houston Rockets in this spot. Cleveland taking on the Washington Wizards. Now, looking at this game here this evening, I believe Washington Wizards are going to be a 7.5 point home court favorite. The over-under set at 227.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, going to lean with the Wizards here by 10. 118-108, the over-under at 226.74. The Cavaliers 1-9 straight up and 1-8-1 against the point spread in the last 10 games, 5-5 to the over/under. Where the Wizards 5-5, batting .500, and 7-2-1 against the number. 70% of their last 10 games have gone over the total. 61% chance of winning for the Wizards tonight compared to 57% chance of covering for Cleveland. So the good news is, if you like Washington to win straight up, we have a 61.8% chance of winning according to our Raymond Report law of average theory. But Cavaliers have a better chance of covering the spread on the percentage play. And that's what the Raymond Report is all about. It's all about value, percentage play, and now we're taking a look at the cycles and the performance cycles. And for Washington, they're on a 2-game straight-up losing streak. But the good news, bad news, is that they're on a 2 ATS win streak. And when the Cleveland Cavaliers are on the road against teams below 500 in the standings, they're only 5-10 against the number. But look at this, 11-4 to the under. So keep in mind, Cleveland on the road against team below 500 on the season, 11-4 to the under. And for the Cavaliers, 9-25 on the road, 11-23 against the number. And when Cleveland travels to Washington to take on the Wizards, 6-4 straight up, 7-3 against the point spread. So you can see we got a few indicators pointing towards Cleveland here this evening. And let me take a look at the situational stats in the Raymond Report to see if there's anything we could hang our hat on here. So NBA road teams coming off a 3-game homestand like Cleveland is, 44-28-1 to the over. And a team that's on the road that scored exactly 102 points for in the last game, 14-8 to the over. And we know Washington could put in a lot of buckets, right? And Washington coming off a 5-game road stand. And when home teams in the NBA this season are coming off a 5-game road stand, 17-7 to the over. So as you can see, we got some good numbers pointing towards the total and the over here tonight in Washington. All right, New Orleans taking on the Golden State Warriors. Now, the Warriors a 4.5 point home court favorite. The over-under set at 230.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, gonna lean with the Warriors here. 117-115, the over-under at 232.43. Warriors 7-3 straight up in their last 10 games, where the Pelicans have covered the spread 80% of the time in their last 10, but those 10 games have seen the number go also 80% towards the under. And for the Warriors, 60% of the last 10 games have gone over the total. My line tonight on this game between the Warriors and Pelicans was minus 1.3 for Golden State. And you can see the bookmakers are trying to squeeze 4.5 out of you, so be careful. Golden State, though, coming off a 4-game win streak straight up and against the number. The last 3 have gone over the total. And for the Warriors at home against team below 500, they beat the beatables. 13-2 straight up, 11-4 against the point spread, 9-6 to the over. Golden State at home this season, 23-11, 21-13 against the point spread. Much better than their road record of 14-21-1. And look at that. Look at their over-under record home and away. On the road, Golden State 14-23-0 to the under, but at home 19-14-1. And when they face New Orleans in their last 10 head-to-head meetings, 70% of the games have gone under the total. So interesting, fun with stats right there. That's my new thing now, fun with stats. And I'm going to steal that one off Sheldon. All right. NBA road teams this year, home or road, and the total is 229.5. The under is 11-6. It would have been good if it was a Golden State were on the road, right? Because we got a lot of indicators pointing that way. But when the total is 229.5, the home team is 11-6 against the number. So again, fun facts, and here to share it with you today on the Raymond Report. And don't forget, today's podcast is brought to you by bballpicks.com. Guys, follow the top basketball pickers in the world. And anybody who goes a perfect, oh, look at this. This is awesome. We got 2 people now who picked up 2 Kobe's. And the Kobe is Anytime, just like Kobe was perfect and he was excellent, anytime you go a perfect 4-0 or better, you pick up a Kobe trophy right here. And look at that. We got Terminator picked up his second Kobe last night. Congratulations to Kevin and Mike Anthony for picking up another Kobe here at bballpicks.com. All right, let's take a look at the Buddy Buckets. My guy, I love Buddy Buckets. I love his foundation as well. Check out his foundation. It's if you go to his website, there's a lot of information on there, and it's for at-risk kids, and you want to check it out there. All right, Sacramento taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, the Grizzlies, a 6.5-point home court favorite. The over-under set at 227.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, gonna lean with the Memphis Grizzlies. 115 to 109, the 108. The over-under set at 223.52. So let me just repeat that so we don't get confused. 115 for Memphis, 108.09 for Sacramento. That's what confused me right there. And the Kings are 7-3 straight up and against the number in the last 10 games, 3-7 to the under, where the Memphis Grizzlies are 6-4 straight up, 4-6 against the point spread. My line tonight on the game between the Grizzlies and the Kings, I had Memphis at minus 1.23, so you can see they're overvalued. And I had the Sacramento Kings at 3.46, and you're getting 6.5, so you're getting really good value here at the Raymond Report with the Sacramento Kings, who are 5-7 against teams that have a 50 to 59.9% winning percentage in the standings, where the Memphis Grizzlies are 9-3 below against team below 500 straight up, and 7-5 against the number. Now, keep in mind also Memphis coming off a win in their last game, 116 to 110. I believe that was last night. So it's a back-to-back game situation last night for the Memphis Grizzlies and the Sacramento Kings. And when teams that are at home, wow, look at this. Any NBA home team this season playing on 0 days rest, and they're a 6.5 to 9-point home favorite, 16-3 straight up in their next game, 12-7 to the over. So not a bad situation here for the Memphis Grizzlies, who are only 17-18 at home this season, 19-16 to the point spread. And look at this right here. Memphis at home play a lot of low-scoring games, 14-21-0 to the under. And Sacramento, when they travel to Memphis, 70% of those games, the last 10 games, have gone under the total, 3-7-0, favoring the under. All right, let's take a look here also. Wow, look at that right here. Now, NBA road teams coming off a Western Conference opponent. The Sacramento Kings, when they're coming off a Western Conference opponent, 4-12 to the under. So a little bit of an indicator point right there. We got a lot of indicators. In fact, Sacramento coming off a road loss as an underdog, 7-1 to the under. And look at all the under edges over here. Wow, this could be a game that goes under tonight. NBA for the Memphis Grizzlies, when they're coming off a 6-point win this season, or actually since 96, 11-23 to the under. For the Grizzlies when they come off a 6-point win. And for NBA teams this season coming off a 6-point win, 2 games above the over, 15-13. So double-edged sword right there if you do like the total. And let me see if I have any other numbers. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies coming off a home win as a favorite last night. They are 5-2 on the season when they're coming off a home win as a favorite. So it does favor Memphis in this spot, but should be a good game, a back-to-back game situation. We saw that record on 0 days rest for the home favorite. Speaking of favorites, look at this. The Utah Jazz, a 13.5-point road favorite tonight against the Thunder. Over-under set at 221.5. ATS forecast, computer pick, gonna lean with the Utah Jazz, 120 to 111. The over-under set at 231.7. Thunder 1-9 in their last 10 games straight up, 3-7 against the point spread. And for the Jazz, 6-4 straight up, but only 4-6 against the number. They haven't been good to the bettors in the last 10 games, 6-4 to the over. My line on this game, I had the Jazz at minus 8.85, and the bookmakers are trying to squeeze 2 touchdowns out of you, 13.5. And for the Oklahoma City Thunder, I had plus 10.84. So you're getting good value here, but I don't bet on C-type teams, and that's teams below 500, especially teams like the Thunder who are on an 8-game losing streak, and they've lost their last 4 against the point spread, and their last 3 games have gone over the total. And when they're at home against a team above 60% in the standings, they're only 1-6 straight up, 2-5 against the point spread. Should be a tough night here for the Oklahoma City Thunder, who've only won 9 games at home this season, where they're taking on the Utah Jazz, who are a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde syndrome. In fact, Utah 31-5 at home, but only 19-15 on the road, so only 4 games above 500. And when they're taking on the Thunder in Oklahoma City, they are 2-8 straight up, 3-7 against the number. So the bookmakers have done a good job placing those numbers. But The Thunder, look at this, 9-1 in the last 10 head-to-head meetings. So good numbers pointing towards the Thunder in this one. And taking a look here at some of the other noticeable stats. Only 2 here. So I'm always looking to get a nice edge here on some of the totals. And I don't really see anything that stands out. So we're going to go on to the next game. And that will be between Toronto and Dallas. Now, the Dallas Mavericks, Toronto Raptors played last night, and in fact, they lost in Chicago. The final score was 114-106. I had the total at 217, but if you had 216, congrats on your push. But that was a tough loss last night. But hey, that's how the cookie crumbles, right? Dallas now almost a 2-point touchdown here tonight. Minus 13.5 against the Raptors, 221.5. ATS forecast. Computer pick, gonna go with the Mavs here, 122-109. The over-under at 232.17. Keep an eye on the Raptors roster. It looks like more of a G League team right now. They're sitting Siakam, Van Fleet, Lowry. It's a G team. It's like an exhibition game. And load management is the word of the day today in Toronto. Dallas, 8-2 straight up, 7-3 against the number for the Mavericks against the point spread, and 70% of those games that went over the total, where the Toronto Raptors are 2-8. 4-5-1, 3-6-1 against the number. My line, though, was minus 2.49. But you know what? We're getting at the tail end of the season, and it's like preseason right now, right? Especially when teams have already made the playoffs. But maybe there's still some jockeying to go. I haven't checked the jockeying around of the playoff standings yet. Dallas 20-15 at home, 15-19-1. So Dallas not a great home team covering the spread, and they've had trouble against the Raptors in the last 10. But that was when Raptors played their starters. 2-8 straight up, and 4. Look at this. NBA home teams this year on 1 day's rest, they're a 12.5 point to 15-point home favorite. 13-0 straight up, and 9-4 against the number. So if you do like the Mavericks here tonight, I don't recommend laying that many points. But check this out. Toronto Raptors, NBA road teams like the Raptors run a 5-game losing streak. 17-4 to the over this season. So guys, the over is where you might want to lean here, since we got a little bit shafted last night. But hey, that's how that's gambling, right? You win some, you lose some, and then pass the beer nuts. Philadelphia 76ers taking on the Orlando Magic. Now, the Magic coming to this game coming off a 116-93 loss to the Atlanta Hawks last night, where the Philadelphia 76ers got in a little heated affair with the Miami Heat. 106-94 was the final, and now they are a 13.5 point favorite. The over-under set at 104. ATS forecast, computer pick, gonna lean with the Sixers here, 115-104. The over-under at 220.08. I think I just repeated that. See, you get so much in these zones, you start repeating yourself. So I apologize for that. 8-2 straight up. So Canadian, eh? So Canadian. 8-2 straight up. 6-4 against the number. 3-7 to the straight up factor. 5-5 against the point spread. And for the last 10 games, a little bit of an opposite here. 6-4 to the over for the Magic. 4-6 to the under for the Sixers. My line on this game here was minus 5.32 for Philadelphia and plus 9.06 for the Magic. The chance of winning the game straight up does favor the Sixers at 80.6%. And looking at some of the other noticeable stats, Orlando on a 5-game losing streak. The last 3 have gone under the total, where the Sixers now on a 2-game losing streak straight up and against the number are 13-3 straight up against teams below 500, where Orlando's only 1-7 against team above 60% on the road this season. And if you look at their last 10 games between these two teams, Philly is 6-4 straight up, 5-5 against the number, and 4-6-0 to the over-under. Philly's over-under record at home, 19-15. And for the Orlando Magic, 17-16-1 on the road this year with their totals numbers. All right, let's take a look at some of the other factors here tonight. And Orlando, 11-11 coming off a loss when they're on the road. And for the Sixers, when they're coming off a road loss as an underdog, only 2-2 in their next game. But look at this. When they're coming off a 2-game road stand and they're at home in their next game, 5-0 against the point spread. So nice numbers there. Factoring in for the Philadelphia 76ers. I want to see what their record is in there it is, back-to-back games, 2-3 this year in back-to-back games when they're at home. And yeah, so there you have it. If you like the under, look at this. Philadelphia, when they're at home, coming off 2 ATS losses in a row, 0-4 to the under. All right, there you have it, folks. That's the Raymond Report in a nutshell today. I thought I'd use the premium tip sheet. Let me know if you like this report better than the computer picks. I always want feedback. I always want to know. To me, it's about giving you guys good information, great information. Like that book says, right? You want to be good or you want to be great. Good to great. I forget who wrote that book. Collins, I think. But great. And it's a great, the slogan when you're coaching football and you're telling your players, right? You want to be good or you want to be great. And that's the same thing in sports betting. You want to have a good day or you want to have a great night. We always want to have a great night. Speaking of great, let's follow the top pickers right here at bballpicks.com. Remember, anybody can play, anybody can join. And if you want to follow me, my handle is Ronnie Ray. I use the old Jordan logo. I'm a Jordan guy. When I was in the early 80s and 90s, when I was in my prime, I wasn't a basketball guy. I was a football guy. Growing up in Canada, my big three were Gretzky, Elway, and Jordan. And that was my trifecta. All right, folks, have yourself a great rest of your Friday, your Freaky Friday. As always, shop for value, play those percentages. We'll see you back shortly with another Raymond Report. Cheers.